FOMUSO is here with us for Tabloid on Cameroon Daylight. Yves FOMUSO, quelques bruits en fond sonore. Yves FOMUSO, bonjour.
Good morning, Valerie.
What is in the newspapers today?
Yeah, in the papers today, we're talking about the Ngongso, which is a relic of the Nso people that has been in a museum in Berlin, that's in Germany.
Yes.
There are plans already to have it repatriated to Cameroon as part of efforts to have most of our artifacts and artwork that are lying in most of the museums there in Europe or in America or in European countries. So it's part of the efforts to bring them back. You understand that the Prime Minister had once said it's time for us to have back all our artifacts.
Exactly.
And so the museum in Berlin has promised to send back the Ngongso, which was taken during the German colonial period in Cameroon. So the newspapers talk about the Ngongso, which will return to Cameroon pretty soon. But the papers too are talking about cholera. There are new cases of cholera, and there are also new cases of deaths due to cholera, and so the newspapers to pick up on that story. We'll be seeing that in the newspapers also about the Akwaya attack by secessionists. We'll be talking much about that.
This news and more in a short while.
Thanks for joining us. This is Tabloid and CRTV's network service. We take a flip through newspaper pages in Cameroon for you. We begin with the English Daily. The Guardian Post newspaper writes that military contradicts PCC moderator over Akwaya massacre. The situation is now under control in Akwaya subdivision in Manyu division following an attack by gunmen, leaving 32 deaths last Saturday, June 25. In Balin village on the Akwaya Bamenda Road. There were also attacks in other areas, including Bakinjo. The incident has foiled media outlets and prompted statements from church leaders in their own way. Horrific graphs have appeared on the social media and the local administration on the heels of to quell the situation and stop further carnage. It's a story you want to read in today's edition of your English daily, The Guardian Post newspaper. Cameroon Insider is interested in the Golden Jubilee celebration of Eric. You understand that Eric is celebrating 50 years at the service of not just Cameroon, but the international community, because it has trained so many diplomats who are coming in from other parts of Africa. Over 40 countries who have benefited from the training by Eric, and so the Cameroon Insider says the reference school for the training of diplomats in sub-Saharan Africa today counts over 10,000 graduates who hold strategic positions in the world's diplomatic scene, since some 7,800 Cameroonians, while 2,100 are foreigners from 48 different countries. Opening 4 days of festivities at the school campus, the Minister of External Relations, Minister Lejeune Belambela, who was representing the head of state, asked for the institution to diversify its courses to meet with the exigencies of the time. La Grande Tribune says with the focus on delivering a common future, connecting, innovating, and transforming, which is the theme of this year's Commonwealth meeting, the first post-COVID-19 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting that took place or that ended in Kigali in Rwanda. The week-long summit hosted by Rwandan President Paul Kagame included comments from Britain's Prince Charles expressing contempt for his country's role in the transatlantic slave trade, the first time the United Kingdom has publicly spoken about it. The new expanded Commonwealth made broad commitments during the head of government convening to bolster trade, address climate change, and share up their role in the world as a grown and influential alliance of countries. Le Financier d'Afrique says Gabon and Togo joined the Commonwealth on Saturday, becoming the latest nations with no historic ties to Britain to enter the English-speaking club headed by Queen Elizabeth II. The 54-nation group of mostly former British colonies accepted Togo and Gabon's application for membership on the final day of its leadership summit in Rwanda. The French-speaking West African states are the first new members to join the Commonwealth since Rwanda in 2009. Gabonese President Ali Bongo said his country was making history by joining the group. Cameroon Tribune talks about the Peruvian Cultural Heritage Foundation in Germany that has announced that the gongso, which has been in Germany for more than 120 years, will soon be returned to the rightful owners, Cameroon. And here she sits 5,000 kilometers away from her home, as she has been for the last 120 years. She isn't particularly conspicuous among the dozens of exhibits in the Cameroon Hall of the Ethnological Museum at Berlin's Humboldt Forum. The label somewhat imperiously describes the figure as a palm wine vessel, since the sculpture, less than a meter in height, is holding a bowl in her lap. Her body is covered with cowrie shells, earrings dangle from her ears, and her expression is impassive. She is made of wood, but Ngongso, snatched by German colonialists in 1902, is a princess, a deity. She is the ancestral mother and founder of the Nsor people. So she will definitely be returning back to Cameroon. We continue with Mutation newspaper, where Mutation writes, Le choléra résiste, that Cameroon is among several countries in West and Central Africa experiencing recurrent cholera outbreak. The paper talks about cholera in Cameroon and, of course, the new cases between 29 October 2021 and 30 April 2022, a total of 6,652 suspected cases, including 134 deaths. Case fatality ratio 2% have been reported. Several risk factors can be attributed to the ongoing cholera outbreak in Cameroon, including wide circulation of Vibrio cholerae in the country, limited access to safe drinking water in some areas, a seasonal pattern of cholera occurrence, and inadequate wash conditions. Mutation says 267 new cases have been reported in 2 weeks. With 9 deaths, this brings the total number of deaths to 172 in the last 8 months. You want to read more on that story into this edition of Mutation. We put an end to tabloids with Défi Actuel. Défi Actuel says a state subsidy of over 550 million CFA francs claimed by Samuel Eto'o has been disbursed to Fecafoot, according to a note from what has been termed the payer spécialisé addressed to the Minister of Finance. But the Cameroonian Football Federation and the Ministry of Finance have had a new battle over the purported disbursement of the sum. At the closing ceremony of the training seminar organized by Fecafoot for sports journalists on Monday, Samuel Eto'o had denounced the disbursement of the 550 million CFA francs of state subsidies to professional football clubs, a version that is quite denied less than 48 hours later by the Minister of Finance. And so Défi Actuel is carrying out an investigative story to see where the 550 million lies in between the Ministry of Finance and Fecafoot. And that story puts an end to Tabloids and CRTV's network service. Thanks very much for watching. As we always say, newspapers in Cameroon sell at 400 francs. Get to the newsstands, buy a copy, read, and have a beautiful day.